That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet.
When you could not prove anyone right or wrong, all the expertise was contained in the people involved in the conversation.
We hope you enjoy our conversations, and as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, "That don't sound right," send us a comment. You're one of us. To use a straw with ice. Big ice and big straw are in bed together.
But, the fact is, though, Big Straw has figured out how to make their straws disappear and not be a nuisance.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're co-hosts. I'm Peter Millman.
Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation like we did before the internet, before Google, where we didn't fact check anyone. We get out our phones and see what you said was true.
And this conversation tonight is one of my favorite ones because you have a topic, but I don't know what it is yet.
Yes, but have you killed the conversation? Or have you been extending the conversation?
I usually try to extend the conversation now. Occasionally I will, Google things. Now, this doesn't mean I don't Google things like that.
Right, of course. Right.
But just not to kill the conversation.
Right. So what I'm going to talk about tonight, I don't think you could Google if you wanted to.
You don't think what?
I don't think you could Google it if you wanted to.
Oh, this topic?
What we're going to talk about tonight.
I'm excited.
In fact, I think I'd like to welcome back Christy Davis back to the show. Christy, welcome to the show. Come on in here. She's milling around in the kitchen in its Camel City studio.
Y'all playing this behind my back?
So come on in. I cannot imagine what
Come on in here, Christy. I really want you on.
Okay, Olivia, I've been summoned. I'm sorry.
This is either gonna lighten the load or this is gonna weigh you down.
Did you get an AI gardener for me?
Not yet. Mother's Day's passed, so maybe another year. When's your birthday? Well, we don't have to talk about that. But anyway, so I think it's been well documented in our podcast that Cecil has some pretty strong opinions about how we overdo things. So we make everything to the extreme, right? You just can't go on a bike ride. You got to get the bike shorts. You got to put the jersey on. You got to snap in shoes. You just can't go on a bike ride anymore, right?
I 100% agree.
Yes.
Cecil would also claim we are an overlit society, that flashlights have become way too bright. Light bulbs have become the wrong color. Headlights on the car are overdone.
Yes.
We're an overlit society.
Yes.
You even would walk the country mile, 100-mile race in the dark.
Not only would I do it, I have done it.
You have done it.
I haven't gotten all 100 miles, but I've walked many of them in the dark without a flashlight.
Cecil, you would also say that we as a culture are over-iced, that we don't need ice. In fact, ice is a luxury we probably could do without and should do without.
And I've been supported by people that have been overseas recently.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just over.
And actually, including you.
I was just over there. I was, no ice. And really no water, for that matter.
Explain, again, why do we have ice makers on every floor of a hotel?
That I have no idea.
Maybe multiple ice makers.
No, I can tell you why. Because there's a little ice bucket in your room that
nasty
I
ice
am
bucket.
compelled to fill.
Really?
Every time.
You go fill that?
I do.
What do you ice in the ice bucket?
Well, it comes with a little plastic bag for
but what do you put in the
ice?
ice? Do you use the ice in your drinks? Or
I put ice in my water. I want a glass of ice water.
you put that nasty ice that everybody's had their hands in that machine.
No, these new
glass
machines
that you can't assure that's been washed.
These new machines, you hold the bag up to the nozzle and you mash the button. And it deposits.
Mash?
Yeah, you mash the button and the ice puts right in your bag. No more are you putting your nasty hands on the scoop to get the ice.
How often are they cleaning that ice maker?
How often do they need to clean it? Cecil, it's sterile water.
It's not sterile water.
Okay, anyway. Here we are. So we're over iced.
Yes.
We're overlit.
Yeah.
We've extremed everything.
Yes.
Well, I have something to add to our over culture.
You've got me.
We are over strawed.
Yes.
We're overstrawed. We've turned into a culture of adult sippy cups.
This is funny because I get commented on, if not mocked,
Probably mocked, Cecil.
because I don't get a lid and a straw at a restaurant.
There you go. Even when you're about to take the cup to the car?
Even when I take the cup to the car.
That's why your car has that funny smell.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I have spilled a lot of coffee in my car. An inordinate amount of coffee in my car. I don't. Tell me
but why? So why are we so overstrawed? Why do we have so many straws? Why do we always get a straw? Why do all our sippy cups? Why are we doing sippy cups, people?
Why?
Right? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me if I go into your cupboard right now, am I going to find an adult sippy cup in there?
Yeah. With a lid that doesn't match a cup, and then a cup that doesn't have a lid.
That's fine, but
this was on my list of things to do. Maybe AI could help us with that, like matching up the lids and the cups.
Not just an adult sippy cup, an expensive.
Oh.
Don't bring Olivia into this.
High dollar.
Yes. I keep going, man. I'm with you so far.
So I was at lunch with my coworkers, and we were talking about this because the waitress had come by and she put a pile of straws on the table. And then she came by again. She said, "Did I give you straws?" And we said, yeah, we got straws here.
Yeah.
And we're looking around and this is like, who wants a straw? And some people are getting straws and some people aren't getting straws. And we start talking like, why aren't you using a straw? Why are you using a straw? And a lot of different, and then one of our coworkers who's from India did not get ice in his water. I said, "You've been talking to Cecil, haven't you?" But he also did not get a straw.
Right.
Some places ask, like at River Birch, they will say, "Would you like a like that?" They wouldn't just hand it out and put a bunch on the table.
Right. This is what don't sound right.
I'm curious.
That we have turned into a culture of adults using sippy cups.
This is why I don't get straws. Because, the transporting of the beverage aside, you can make a case for having the lid and the straw in the car.
Yes, I think we can make a case for that.
You can make a case for that. But why do you need a straw when you're sitting in a restaurant at a table with a cup?
Yes.
Why do we need a straw? I don't use a straw. I don't have a box of straws at home that I use.
I asked some questions. So here's some of the things. The first thing is some people are concerned about the cleanliness of the cup. Yeah. All right. So maybe the paper cup was, handled. Someone used their dirty hand to pick up the mouth of the cup, move it over, and then fill it up. And that could be true about a glass. I mean, you can see the glass that should be clean, but that could be. People are concerned about the cleanliness of that. Yeah. Okay. Can we? Yes. I think we can acknowledge that.
I have one. Do you have them all noted?
I have a bunch of noted. I don't know if I have them all noted. What do you have? Why would you use a straw? What situations would compel you?
Stain your teeth.
Oh. With what?
Tea.
What are you drinking?
Tea.
Tea?
How does a straw keep you from not staining?
Because think about it. When you sip, it doesn't touch your teeth. It goes back into your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can buy that. Also, some people have, some sensitivities. So when you drink that beverage especially with ice, but if we weren't so over ice, maybe we wouldn't have straws. But the teeth, the coldness of the ice on your teeth, or just the teeth, the ice slamming against your teeth as you take the beverage.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
That could do it. Peer pressure is another thing.
Peer pressure is most of it.
Peer pressure. I mean, some of the guys said, "Oh, I just did because everyone else was doing it."
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Reduces spills, especially if you get a lid in your car.
Right.
Okay. So there's something. Now, someone said, and I think this don't sound right. Tell me what you think. It moderates the amount you drink.
No.
Discuss this.
It does not moderate the amount you drink. I think I drink more when I have a straw.
Why is
I think I drink more when I have a straw too.
Why is that?
Because it's easier.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like if I take a water with a straw, a Stanley cup, or any other.
Oh, you got a Stanley cup.
Well, I have a hand-me-down from Olivia.
Woo.
I have a hand-me-over from Olivia. And I will sip on that and drink a significant amount, but I would never just sit and drink that out of a...
If there were not a lid on
I
it.
don't think so.
Well, here's the thing. Let me just take this a step
You take
further.
a little tiny sip.
Yeah. I don't think it regulates how much. I think I drink more with a straw because for some reason it's easier.
Okay.
It's more active than
Maybe
drinking.
it's just more fun.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that blows up everything that people think about straws. People don't drink beers with straws.
Have you ever seen someone drink a beer with a straw?
No.
I have not.
Wine.
Or wine.
Or wine. You never see I've seen somebody drink wine with a straw. But people don't drink alcohol with straws typically, unless it's a mixed drink, maybe.
With a straw?
I've seen, sometimes you'll see a mixed drink.
But they're using the little, aren't they using the little,
maybe it's a little
the stir stick that they're trying to...
Yeah. But, so to me, if you're a straw user for a soft drink, then why aren't you using it for a beer?
So
why don't you have a top and a straw in your beer?
I really like that. I like that. In fact, when next time we go out with some friends to have a beer, we should ask them, do you drink a straw with your soda? And if they say yes, we're calling the waitress over.
Right.
Put a straw in this
Put a straw in the beer. Put a top on it. Put a straw in it.
That's so funny. Who has thought about that besides you, Peter?
Either be all in on the straw or not at all.
That's right.
Yeah. Because we didn't do this as kids growing up in the 80s. I did not have a water bottle.
I know we have giggled about that. If somebody forgot their water bottle,
the only water I drank.
Oh no! Cecil's like, there is a water fountain at school.
Yeah. The only water I drank at school was out of the water fountain.
Yeah, and even when I was on a backpacking trip, that's the only time I carried water on me. Not even on a hiking trip, but on a backpacking trip, and it was out of a canteen. It was an aluminum canteen with a screw on top that had the chain, so you wouldn't lose the top. You remember that?
Yeah, and now. When you're back, if you're going to be not a nerd backpacker, I mean, if you're going to not be mocked by the other backpackers, you've got a camel pack or a platypus bag or something like that, and a hose stuck in your mouth, and you're sucking water the whole time, which is crazy. Strong. See, that's the thing with backpacking. Now, this is the thing that's gone out. Used to, you had your water bottle in your pack, and you had to ask your hiking partner to get it out.
Water bottle out of there.
And that allowed you some interaction, man.
Right.
And now all that's gone.
Now you just stick that straw in your mouth and you hike, and you don't have to talk for 5 months.
You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't need any help, and you're just drinking water the whole time.
So I feel like I have convinced everyone here that we are an overstrawed society. The other thing is there is there was a pushback on straws, right?
Yeah, I mean, straws have gotten very political.
But let me tell you, and I have a beef with that. I have a beef with that.
Sure.
How many straws have you ever seen on the ground as trash?
I have rarely seen a straw.
Isn't that fascinating?
I've seen many more bags.
As bad as straws are for the environment, how many straws have you seen on the ground?
But I do think, like,
Christy, tell me, how many straws have you seen on the ground?
I think it's more I think it's more of the breaking down of the straw than just finding them littered, right?
But you don't ever see them out in the wild.
I've never. I don't
think that's the issue. I don't think that's the issue.
What do you think the issue is?
I think the issue is that they are not degradable, biodegradable.
They're not, but they're not. But
they used to be. There were paper straws.
Yeah, but people had strong opinions about the paper straws.
People had strong opinions about paper straws.
Because they would melt.
People stopped being straw people when you had paper straws.
Right.
You're right. I don't see them scattered around. I was thinking the other day, the things that... Do you remember how many Pop-Tops you used to see scattered around?
I do remember those. There's aluminum.
And you would you'd get cut on them occasionally.
That's right. There was a Jimmy Buffett song about this.
Yeah. There was Pop-Tops everywhere. I've seen a ton more Pop-Tops in my day scattered around than I ever seen in straw.
I am digging out part of my backyard to put in the ground level deck, and guess what I found?
Pop-Top?
A Pop-Top.
A Pop-Top.
A Pop-Top.
I haven't seen a Pop-Top in a while.
I mean, it was buried under the grass. I mean, it was...
Right.
All right, so for those
they don't degrade.
Right.
They don't degrade.
They just slice your foot open.
If you don't know what a Pop-Top is,
listen to Margaritaville.
If you drink a soft drink, you have the tab on there and it opens up and opens up the can. But used to, you pulled it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd pull the tab
It
up.
was separated.
And it would separate. And then you had that loose piece of sharp metal.
Yeah, what would you do with it? You throw it on the ground.
Now, some guys would throw that pop top into their beer.
Yeah.
And then they would drink it and end up in the ER.
Oh, yeah. I always wondered about that.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's why they told you not to throw your pop top into your drink. But but then some people would wear it as a ring until they finished the drink, and then they would put it in a can.
That's a good idea.
Or what most people did is they just discarded it, and there was 1,000 pop tops everywhere. Yeah, you're right, Peter. I've never seen a straw in the wild for the most part.
Even the little stir sticks that Starbucks was really concerned about, right? Remember those little stir sticks? How many? I don't see them. I think they're breaking down, Christy.
I don't know about that, Peter. Bring Sophie in on that one.
I think the straw thing is, again, it seems like a thing that if you're drinking out of your glass, like I'm drinking out of a glass tonight,
right,
and I'm not using a straw, when I go to a restaurant, why would I require a straw?
I'm drinking out of a can.
You are.
Right. Did I wash the surface of this can?
No.
I did not. Did you?
No.
No. But here we go.
And you're not drinking out of a straw. But now, do you use a straw in a restaurant?
No, I generally don't know. I don't even like,
that's another thing we have in common.
I don't even like using the straw with a milkshake.
Really? How do you drink a milkshake? A spoon?
Like you drink a drink. Yeah, you tilt it up.
And then you get a face full of milkshake.
Yeah, but that's just part of the experience.
It's actually easier to drink a milkshake that way without a straw.
I'm wondering, is it because, I don't know.
Well, come to think of it, growing up, that's how I drank milkshakes, was not with a straw.
There you go.
I was just thinking about like glasses that are sweaty and slippery. Is it just for safety? Like, so your glass doesn't slip out of your hand?
No, I think big straw is involved in this.
Big straw, big plastic.
Big plastic. Big straw has convinced us that we need to use a straw with ice. Big ice and big straw are in bed together.
But, I mean, the fact is, though, Big Straw has figured out how to make their straws disappear and not be a nuisance.
Yeah.
I would love to hear from some listeners if they've seen straws in the wild as trash.
I have seen straws in the wild in a cup top. Occasionally, you'll see an entire cup, like somebody's throwing it on the side of the road. I've seen the entire package.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah,
but I haven't seen just a straw.
Yeah, but the straw by itself, I don't think is causing the problem.
Now,
do we need to ban straws? No, I'm not saying that at all. But I think we need to get back to just drinking out of a cup. We could save some things.
Well, I'm already on the hook for ice and changing LED lights, so I might as well go all in on straws.
Well, I'm your straw guy. I'm your straw guy. We can figure out better ways.
Yeah.
Even when I'm in the car, I have a water bottle that I have to screw the top off.
Really? That feels like a driving hazard.
So the thing I get made fun of is when you...
What are your knees for, Christy?
Oh, Peter.
You drive with your knee.
Yeah, I've driven... Yeah.
What do you get made fun of?
Well, because I'll order... If I go to a restaurant for lunch, not typically dinner, but for lunch, I'll get a to-go cup to go back to the office.
Yeah.
No ice, without a straw.
Okay. That's dangerous. Not dangerous.
If I'm getting in somebody else's... If I'm driving my car, I do that. If I'm getting in somebody else's car, I'll typically... ask for a lid.
You'll lid it up.
Yeah. And they'll ask to make sure I can take the cup with me. But I'm always taking a drink back with me.
Right.
And, like when we would go eat at 421, I wouldn't.
No, right.
I wouldn't get a straw there.
Right. I like the ice crashing onto my mouth.
I didn't get ice either.
Well, here's the thing is it's better. I mean, when you drink out of a straw and the ice is at the top, your soda's warm at the bottom.
Warm?
Well, it's not cold. It's not as cold as where the ice is because the ice is floating to the top. So your cold part of it is where the ice is. The other thing is that ice somewhat waters down your beverage, right? And so when you drink it without a straw, it's mixing together. So the watered down effect isn't as great. Because if you drink with a straw, you're at where the syrup is and you're getting the strong stuff. And then by the time you get to the ice, it's all watered down and nasty.
That's quite a theory.
I wonder if the advent of the free refill has accelerated straw use.
Something did. It'd be interesting to see where straws came in. Now, we'll say, if I am going to use a straw, I want the highest quality straw that is on the market. I do not want straws collapsing on me
Do you
mid-drink.
own any reusable, washable straws in this house?
I can't use those. I don't like a metal straw.
The metal straw, which is so loud.
So I want the most sturdy straw available, short of it being metal.
You got to make sure you get microplastics in your straw.
I want a straw that is well built.
Yeah, that's the problem. There is no good straw for milkshakes in my opinion.
There's no good straw for milkshakes except for Chick-fil-A straw. Chick-fil-A has a good milkshake straw.
I not with cookies and cream.
Yeah.
It jams it up every time. Forget about it.
So I don't want straws like collapsing. But typically, I'm not using a straw.
You're not using a straw anyway. Well, there it is for you.
That's fun.
We are an overstrawed.
I do want to say though, now that you say that, the platypus bags and the camel bag.
Yeah,
that's just one big straw.
Well, yeah. It's a huge straw. They call it what is it really? It's a hose, but it's just a straw.
Have you ever seen the life straws?
I've got one.
You've got a life straw?
I've got a life straw. I've never used it. It's really for emergencies.
That straw is going to save your life.
It is going to save my life. And it's not really, it's more than a straw. It's a huge filter unit inside of a straw.
Right.
But it's the life straws where you can drink directly.
That's right.
Drink directly out of the creek through the straw. And it's got a filtration system.
I've got one. That's just for, for bad times. A bad time.
It is a bad time if you have to use a straw.
We got a creek across the street.
Yeah. Have you tried it?
The life straw? No, I've not tried it. It's still its sterile wrapper.
Wow.
Really?
I'm afraid it's probably expired.
Yeah, it might be.
Which takes us back to another episode. Do we really need to worry about expiration dates on life straws, right? I don't know. But that takes us back to episode 184. Is it still good? Where we talk about expiration dates on various things.
Peter does a lot of work to get you all the references for these episodes, so make sure you're going back.
And Cecil does a lot of work to go back to these older episodes, run them through the AI, so when you go listen to them, they don't sound like they used to. But some of them do, and that's old school. That's us. That's us in the raw.
All right. Well, it doesn't sound right, but you've come to the end of this straw episode of That Don't Sound Right.
If this is your last straw... We want to thank you for listening. If this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation, consider hitting that subscribe button on the platform you listen with. Also, if you're a longtime listener, give us a rating. Leave us a review so others can easily find us and join the conversation.
This is you're going to leave the podcast now?
Mm-mm.
Bye, Christy.
No, I'm here. I'm sitting right here. I'm right
here. This is possibly the straw that broke the Camel City Studios.
Oh, man. Well, we always have the annex. Yeah. We might have to go out to the exterior annex.
That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I'm your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil. Peter is your other host and web designer. Also, you're our researcher for all our episodes. Camille's our barista. Emily's our graphic designer. Ella does our Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is Scott. So till next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.